Hello, welcome to GagruleNet. My name is Wally Sarkisian, and today we have very talented woman, and she's an MD, Dr. Ramina Jajoo, and she have crossed the world, many countries, and end up now in Arizona. She's from Iran, Tehran. She moved to Australia. She got her medical degree there, and then she moved to, I believe, Connecticut, and the name Connecticut, it's never easy to pronounce it. And then Boston, and then in Arizona. So please welcome. We're so delighted to have you on our show.
Mr. Sarkisian, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be with you today and on GagruleLive. See, I'm having trouble pronouncing words as well.
That's why I tried to stay away from your bio, because it was too many all over. So tell us a little bit about your journey, and then we'll go deep into Assyrian genocide and all that stuff.
Thank you. I will do that. So basically, my ethnicity, my background is Assyrian. I was born in Tehran. And after the Islamic Revolution, we lived in Tehran for another 4 or 5 years. And then in 1984, we migrated to Australia. I was 16 at the time. I finished high school there. Then I went to medical school at the University of New South Wales and worked there for a couple of years. And then I came to Connecticut, US, and I did my residency in internal medicine. Met my husband there, and then we went to Boston for fellowship, and I got my subspecialty in internal medicine. In 2004, we came to Phoenix because we were tired of the snow, and we wanted to live in the hottest city in the country. So we moved to Phoenix. My son was born here, and I started, I really joined a practice that was already established. It was called Arizona Arthritis and Rheumatology Associates, and we became the largest practice in the state of Arizona. I also became part of the research organization or practice called Arizona Arthritis and Rheumatology Research, where we actually studied rheumatology medications to develop more advanced medications for arthritis and autoimmune diseases. And then I also at the same time became more active within the Assyrian community. And we can touch on that if you want.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing journey, right? So let me just do one thing here. Let me share. See, right now we are on YouTube and Facebook, Gagrule, and I want to share it on my profile and while you talk. So I'm just going to let you. All right. So as far as, like an Armenian, Assyrian, Greek, if you look at their bio, if you interchange the name and their profession, it's exactly same bio. All three have same bio. They all have rubber stamp genocide on it, And it's just amazing, how this three ancient nation have paid such a heavy price. And it's just mind-boggling. Assyrian, they were one time an empire, and now they don't even have a country. Armenia, they have a little country, and they don't know how long they could hold on to it. And there are some Assyrian living there too. But Assyrian mostly are spread on northern Iraq and Syria, correct?
Correct. And some are also in Turkey and Israel, also Jordan and Iran.
Oh, I see. So Iran have a big population of Assyrian?
I can't give you the exact number. It's gone down significantly. I believe in the early 1900s, the Assyrian population would have been close to 70,000. But now it's probably around 20,000 or less. I'm not quite sure, to be quite honest. Our population is mostly living in diaspora, with the largest population now, most likely in US. And then there are some communities in Canada, multiple European countries, and Australia.
But they still have lots of them in northern Iraq, correct?
Correct. Yes, they do. They do.
All right. So let's talk about Seyfo, which is Assyrian Genocide Center, but you named it Seyfo for whatever reason. So explain that, how that works. And we also interviewed your colleague from Dallas. He's doing his PhD on Assyrian genocide. He's a very intelligent man, you know. So explain about Seyfo on what they do.
Sure. So as you mentioned, you already interviewed Mr. Sabri Atman, who is the founder of Seyfo Center. The word Seyfo in Assyrian means sword, because the 1915 genocide was mostly conducted against the Assyrians, Armenians, and Greeks using sword. Of course, bullets were used and all kinds of other methods, hangings, but sword was the main weapon back then. So that's why it was named Seyfo Center, which also is used interchangeably with the Assyrian Genocide Research Center. I'm not going to go into too much detail regarding that because you already had a meeting with Sabri. It was established, I believe, in 2003 in Europe through multiple collaborative efforts within different countries there. And then in 2011, it was established in US. And at the same time, the Arizona chapter was established in 2011. But the Arizona chapter wasn't as active as until 2018. I want to say roughly mid 2018. So I joined then, and then our executive team grew, and we became more active. We became more kind of involved in terms of raising awareness against the Assyrian genocide, which also really, as you said, it overlaps with the Greek and the Armenian genocide. Also, additionally, Mr. Sarkisian, I want to give you a little bit of a story about my own background. My paternal grandparents were born in the eastern parts of Turkey, in an area called Touma. And I don't know if you've heard of that, Touma, or they were called Biricaye.
Well,
and they were actually...
I was always told those Mardin was their biggest concentration, but now you're telling me different.
Correct. Well, Mardin is, but there were other communities, villages, cities around that area in the more southern parts of Turkey, which then later on became part of northern Iraq through rezoning and redrawing the borders, as you know. So my grandparents were teenagers when their village was attacked by the Turkish and the Kurdish forces. So they had to move around a lot. They lost about 20 members of their families in this process. So that became very important to me to tell their story. I never met my grandfather, but I met my grandmother and I saw what she was going through. So that's why it was extremely important. And it was really an honor and a pleasure to become a part of a contributing member of Seyfo Center.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm the president of the Arizona chapter. We have a seven-member executive team, and we do various things. For instance, we publish books. We set up and promote scholarships for Assyrian students who are studying either political science or genocide studies, historical studies. We do essay competitions for primary school, middle school, and high school students. We do advocacy work with the local politicians, state politicians. In 2000, 2020, we did the first proclamation that recognized the genocide of 1915 in the House of Representatives in the state of Arizona. And then more lately, we've also become more involved with a program that's now at Arizona State University called Genocide Awareness Week.
Wow, you're doing very active, huh? So are you, is Assyrians like Armenian fragmented different group doing different things, or they're more united?
You know, I can't exactly compare and let you know because I'm not aware of the internal kind of workings of the Armenian communities. But for the most part, we are united. There are different opinions. There are discussions.
No, I'm not talking about
But
opinion. I'm talking about organization, right? Sorry.
yes. Yeah, our organization is very solid, and we work with multiple other organizations as well. For instance, the program of Genocide Awareness Week, we do it collaboratively with Assyrian Student Association, as well as Assyrian American Cultural Association of Arizona, and they have their own type of work, their own missions. So there's a slight overlap, but we work on multiple different projects together. And then annually in the state of Arizona, there is the celebration of Assyrian New Year called Chabnisan or Akitu, which is actually happening this coming weekend. And all the organizations within the state of Arizona, particularly Phoenix, they get together and plan the event. So I want to wish a happy Assyrian New Year to everybody, to your audience. And of course, if you have any audience that are Assyrian, I want to wish them a happy Chab Nisan. So that's one thing. And then there is the August 7th event, which is the Assyrian Martyrs Day. That's also done through a collaborative and collective work. So I don't know if that answers your question adequately, but these are some of the inner workings of our community here.
I attended one time that August 7th. Yeah, it's the genocide of Semil, I guess they call them. And there was lots of people there. I interviewed lots of people, including your priest in there. And he was a very nice person. So you still work now, right?
No, I actually retired in 2019.
Gee, you look like still a young lady, you know. So you're devoted all your time now to the Assyrian issues.
Well, yes. I mean, I volunteer. I wouldn't say all my time, but it is one of the wonderful projects that I'm part of. And it is volunteer work. We don't get paid. None of our executive team members, nobody gets paid for this. And we are always kind of relying on the community to support our projects. And we've been really very lucky because the community here has been very supportive of our work.
So do you guys have physical location for your organization? Like how is Seyfo hosted? Where?
We don't have an office. We are working on finding an office only because we don't, in this virtual world that we have now, to have to pay a lease and maintain an office is not particularly the smartest way to go about it. We can do our meetings in person. We have plenty of locations where we can do that when necessary. And we do have an office. We do have a PO box where people can actually mail us letters if they want to. But most of the communication, to be quite honest, is done through emails these days, emails and text messaging, social media. And we are also registered with Arizona State Corporation Commission, so we are incorporated. We do have a 501c3 nonprofit status with the IRS, so we have to give annual financial reporting. So we try to run an organization that is very transparent.
And so, but do you have churches in your own church, or you just use someone else's church?
We do. We do have churches. It's funny that you asked that because I actually did. Our organization, Seyfo Center, did a study. We did a 2-year research study on our community, and to talk about that will take a lot longer. It's beyond the scope of this interview, but we actually did surveys of our community here, and we found out that we have two Assyrian churches of the East, one in Glendale and one in Gilbert. They're in the polar, like opposites of town of Phoenix. And then there is the ancient Church of the East, which is also in Glendale. There's the
Okay,
Syriac
so you're talking
Orthodox.
Glendale, Arizona, or Glendale, California?
Definitely Glendale, Arizona. We do have a Glendale here.
Yeah, it's because for
Yes.
people it's confusing sometimes.
Certainly, sure. And then, like I said, we also have a Syriac Orthodox congregation, and I believe there are also two Catholic churches, but I don't know the exact locations. I want to say again in Glendale and Scottsdale.
So the Assyrians are Catholic, correct? Or Orthodox? Or mix?
Majority are Assyrian Church of the East.
Okay.
It's called the Holy Apostolic Catholic Assyrian Church of the East, which is the church that I belong to. But they're also Catholics, Orthodox, Presbyterians, and various other denominations.
And so who is in control of this your center, like genocide center? Is it all Assyrians or just specific group are in charge and of that?
Yeah. So different groups have worked on genocide recognition within the state of Arizona. For instance, as I mentioned, Assyrian American Cultural Organization, a few years ago, they actually put in for a petition, a resolution to approve a genocide monument, a Syrian genocide monument, to be set up in Wesley Bowling Plaza, which is where the state capitol is. It passed the House and the Senate, but then when it went to the governor, Ducey's desk, he vetoed it, and he cited that there are too many monuments there, so he didn't approve it. So, and then our organization worked on the proclamation, which took place in 2020. There have been other organizations that have worked on Assyrian genocide recognition, for instance, Semele recognition, Semele massacre recognition, and then more recently also, again, 1915 genocide. So there are different people working on it, and for the most part, we've been fairly successful. Our organization now is mostly focusing on a big project that's coming up, which is Genocide Awareness Week at Arizona State University, which is actually the largest genocide symposium in North America.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you wish, I could just touch on that as well.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. So hopefully we'll have somebody from the board of director from the ASU School of Historical and Religious Studies will join your program at some point. However, this program actually started by Professor John Lifferton in 2011 at Scottsdale Community College. And it just started as a series of lectures. And initially it had close to 130 attendees. And then as the program grew, different community members from different backgrounds approached him, and they wanted to talk about their genocides: Holocaust, Armenian genocide, Assyrian genocide, Bosnian genocide. So the program continued to get bigger and bigger. And by 2019, they had a week-long program and they had close to 2,800 attendees.
Wow.
So, yeah. So in 2020, I believe they didn't have one because of COVID.
No.
And in 2021, the program was virtual. We went back to in-person program as well as virtual in 2022, which is last year. And it was moved to Arizona State University because it just grew too big for Scottsdale Community College. So now this year we also have the Genocide Awareness Week 2023 coming up, April 17th through 20th. It's labeled as April 17th to 21st on the website, but it's actually till the 20th. And the interesting thing about it, Mr. Sarkisian, is that it really has become very diverse in terms of the different types of programming that there is. And it's expanded even more. For instance, it is now available virtually. It is primarily done at the Tempe campus, which is ASU main campus in Tempe. The lectures are mostly there. The presentations are mostly there. But it's also being shared by University of Arizona in Tucson and Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff. So it's gotten really big, and they've got some really remarkable and amazing speakers that have presented, and it's been an absolute delight to be on the advisory board for this program. And yeah, so it's been really quite a journey.
So when is that exactly?
So, and I can share this information. If I could give you the website, I'll spell it out slowly. It's SHP as in Peter, RS dot ASU dot EDU backslash GAW 2023. So anybody who's interested, they can go to that link and just look up the program. We have, as Assyrians, we have some really amazing speakers and performers. For instance, we have Professor Sargon Donabit, who will speak on April 17th at 1:45 p.m. Till 3 p.m. And he is a very well-known scholar and an established author from Roger Williams University. And we also have Miss Leah Rose Fisher, who will be performing. She's an opera singer, who will perform on Wednesday, April 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. These are in two different buildings. She will be singing at Mirabella Lifelong Learning Auditorium. And Professor Donabit will be talking at Coor Hall. So those are two programs that the Assyrians have. We will also have what we call a photo exhibit, which shows the progression of the Assyrian genocide starting from 1915. And it's not very comprehensive, as you know. The Assyrian genocide is still going on multiple levels in different parts of Middle East.
So is this, it's going to be entrance free for everybody, or people have to pay, or?
Okay, no, this is a completely free program. It is sponsored. Our speakers are already sponsored by our three organizations, the student organization, Seyfo Center, and cultural organization. So it is free for everybody, for students, for community members. And it is important for people to register. Right now, the registration link, I don't think is set up. But what they would like us to do is for everybody to register, because they want to be able to track how many people attend, be it virtually or in person. So to kind of add to that, last year in 2022, if we include all the YouTube videos that were published on the school's website, which is the School of Philosophical, Historical, and Religious Studies, called Shepherd's for short, we'll see that altogether there were 3,500, close to 3,500 attendees.
Wow.
Last year, yes. So last year, the keynote speaker was Father Dubois. His work is on Jewish Holocaust. He's very well known worldwide. And this year, I believe the keynote speaker is Mr. Professor Tanner Acton.
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard of him.
I just interviewed him like just a couple of days ago. I actually was a short conversation with him at Armenian American Museum Gala, you know.
Yes. Yeah. So, as you know, he is very well known within this field, but his focus is the Armenian genocide. And him and Sabri Yatman, they have worked very closely together at Clark University. So we're delighted to also meet him. Of course, the Armenian program is also comprehensive during this week, but I haven't committed it all to my head. I don't remember. I haven't committed it to my memory. So I would strongly urge your viewership to use that link and look up the lectures. There we go.
Backward. It's anyway, but yeah.
Yes. So I would strongly urge your viewership to go ahead and visit the website. And when the link becomes available to register for it, they can pick and choose. It is a full day for 4 days. So sometimes people have to take time off work, but if you can't do that, there's always the choice of attending virtually.
Well, we'll try to come if I don't know, but I don't guarantee it. It would be nice to come there, but 4 days is a bit too much. But yeah, but you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me which day is the most important day. Yeah.
That's going to be a little bit difficult because they're all very important. For instance, we have scholars, we have genocide survivors present, we have law enforcement members, we have lawyers, we have politicians, we have artists, all kinds of people come and present. So it's very diverse. It's not just scholars sitting there and giving lectures, and there are people that have actually lived through Holocaust. We have some people that are in their approaching 100 years old that were Holocaust survivors, or there were camp survivors, Jewish camp survivors. So it is very interesting. It's a good learning experience, and it's a platform that allows people to really learn about what it is that genocide does to people. It's not just the killing. As you know, Mr. Sarkisian, this is true of Armenians and Assyrians. There's a thing called the generational trauma. So even if only my grandparents experienced the persecution, my parents didn't, and I really didn't either, not to that extent. But it does affect our genetic composition. The stress carries over. And particularly with the Assyrians, because these campaigns of destruction and massacre have happened every 20, 30 years, it's just an ongoing issue. And our people are still living this. Like, for instance, when ISIS entered Iraq and Syria, I can't say entered, but because they kind of formed internally. The Assyrian population in Iraq went down significantly. They became internally displaced. They suffered tremendously, as did the Armenians in Syria, I believe. But you can correct me on that.
Well, there is a Armenian village in northern Iraq. It's called Havres. Because I don't get involved too much in the fundraising stuff like that, and so I'm trying to. But the problem is to raise funds. You need to have some non-profit organization. So people send there, and in America everybody wants tax deductible. But there is some Assyrian family live in that village too. And so there is this guy named Dr. Mike Schmidt. During the thick of that things, he went there for Assyrian and Armenians, and they tried to sort of help them. And so I am trying to do, but you cannot do fundraising without having some kind of nonprofit organization that you could channel through that. But we'll see. That's just another subject, you know.
Correct.
So because you said that, I brought, yeah, there is a lot of Assyrian villages there too in that area.
Yes, absolutely. When these kinds of raids are carried out, they're not very discriminatory. They don't say, are you Armenian, we'll leave you alone, or are you Assyrian, we'll leave you alone.
I have something. About a few days ago, I was talking to a friend. He is parents from Mardin. In fact, his father, they used to call him Jibrail Mardinli, you know. And so we had this conversation, you know. I said, why did they kill Assyrian? Armenian, they said their only excuse for Armenian is you joined the Russian army, that's why we massacred you, you know. And I said, well, he says, well, my dad told me, the guy's name is Namet. And he said, my father told me, they asked the Turk at that time in Mardin, why you guys are killing us? What did we do, you know? They told them, there is no difference between black dog and white dog. That was his answer. This is how horrible they were.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And it's devastating. It's to hear stuff like that. I think one of the steps that are involved, or one of the thought processes that are promoted by the perpetrators, is that the other person is not human. It's dehumanization. So in fact, that's how you can do it, right? Because if you think of the other person as a human being, then it's a little bit harder to kill them. But if I could add, Mr. Sarkisian, we had two speakers. We've had some really good speakers, but two speakers last year. One of them at Genocide Awareness Week. One of them was Sabri Atman, and the other one was Dr. Anahit Khosrayeva. I don't know if you know her, but she's an Assyrian from Armenia. And she has worked extensively and published extensively on Assyrian and Armenian genocide. And she goes back and forth to Armenia. And she was telling me that there are probably about 3,000 Assyrians that live in Armenia. And she's done this for a long time. She's an absolute darling. And I hope that someday you can have her on your show. She can give a lot of updated information.
I love to, but I don't know how. I don't know how to contact her. But if she wants, she's welcome.
I will put you in touch with her.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I just cut you there.
No, it's. I just want to know how much more detail would you like me to go into with regards to.
We could be here for a couple of days if. Tell all the story, but the point is, you made about this genocide. You guys are gonna do at Arizona University. That's really very important. So what we got from that here, and also the Seyfo Center. You said it's virtually someplace. All Assyrian have access to it if they want to contribute those things. And is that where Assyrian financially contribute, or there is a different way they could help?
So the best and quickest way, simplest way, is to go to our website. It's www.seyfocenter.com, and there's a donate button, PayPal donate button there. But people also can mail us checks if they want to. We're trying to set up other platforms where we can make it easier. For instance, some people who wish to donate specifically to the Arizona chapter, they can use Zelle. So our bank account is set up with Zelle. They can also email us at resolution at seyfocenteraz.com, or they can email me directly, which is rjajoo, Jajoo, at seyfocenteraz.com. We can give them all kinds of information. We can put them on our mailing list, so we can send them updates. I know, Mr. Sarkisian, you are on our mailing list, so we get those pretty regularly. And it's an absolute, I'm totally delighted to let you know that this year the Assyrian Student Association at ASU and the Armenian Student Association are taking a more proactive approach to Genocide Awareness Week. They have become an integral part of it. They are promoting it within ASU platform. And there are going to be Armenian performances, dances. I strongly urge that the Armenian community, particularly the ones living in Arizona, to attend.
When is that?
The Genocide Awareness Week. Again, it's at Arizona State University, Tempe campus.
Is that the same one that you just mentioned? Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I said, it's a very rich and diverse program. You don't want to miss it. There's so many things to choose from. And I'm also delighted to let you know that myself and Father Zakaria from the Armenian Church, St. F.A.C.R Armenian Church in Scottsdale, we both serve on the Community Advisory Board, which helps the board of directors at Shepherd's kind of with putting the programs together. So it's been an absolute delight. I've met Father Zakaria. He's a gem. And I've also been to the church, St. F.A.C.R Church. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I remember when I lived in Scottsdale for maybe 6 months, so I remember when they built that church. Yeah.
I think if you could correct me, I think it was a community center first, right? And then the church was built.
Well, it's typical of Armenian churches. Our church, school, and community center. That's how they do it. So it's what do you call? I don't know. There's a name I forget. Like a government in exile. So basically, that's how Armenians build and got, because that's the only way they could communicate. But now they're expanding. They're building in Glendale huge Armenian American museum would be the culture stuff, and even cooking they're gonna show in there, and so they slowly building, and so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, well, we could maybe in future specifically talk a specific subject. Today we just wanted to know you, and we wanted as much as information you could give, and then come back whatever you want, and we could maybe next time we could do with 2 people. But I want to go through those pictures you sent me. You could explain who they are if you're interested.
Sure. Okay, so we'll start with me because I'm the tallest person in that picture. And then next to me is Professor John Lifferton. He is the founder of Genocide Awareness Week. I can't see the person next to him very well. I want to see, he was one of the Armenian scholars, but I forget his name. Okay. Next to him is Dr. Sophia Isaac. She is the vice president of our Arizona chapter. Next to her was an attendee, Miss Helen Talia. Next to her in the brown kind of tank top is Miss Ninorta Casso, who is the president of Assyrian American Cultural Organization. They co-sponsor the program. And next to her is Mr. Sabri Atman, the founder of Seyfo Center.
Okay. All right. So this is...
Yes, that's Mr. Atman and Professor Lifferton. Professor Lifferton is presenting him with a gift.
This is
I want to say, I don't remember everybody's name, but again,
so
there's
these are
me
your people, like involved in your activity.
Absolutely. These are Seyfo Center and Cultural Organization Center people. And the gentleman standing next to me is, oh God, you put me on the spot. I should remember his name.
That's okay.
I want to say Professor Feyraz, but don't quote me on that. He's a professor, history professor at Arizona State University, the West Campus. You know, ASU has multiple campuses. The main one is at Tempe, and another one is in Glendale, which is called West Campus, and there's one in downtown Phoenix. And he actually helped us and the Armenian community to put together a very first photo exhibit, genocide photo exhibit. And it was displayed at the West Campus at ASU. So he was the person that helped us with that. We're very grateful. I should remember his name. I'm not good with it. There is our photo exhibit with Mr. Utman in front of it.
Okay. That was the exhibit, the photo exhibit area. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So
there is Professor Anahit Khosroyeva presenting at the main campus.
This was 22?
Correct.
And these are the same group?
Same group, a few more people, a few other speakers are also there. I don't know them by name, sorry.
Doesn't matter.
So there is Dr. Khosroyeva, and then Professor David Patterson, who is at University of Texas in Dallas. He is Mr. Utman's mentor, his PhD mentor, and they work very closely together. And then there's me, and then there's Dr. Sophia Isaac.
You are so tall. You have problem in airplane, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this is forget about it. It was a long one. All right, great. So I just want like people to see the names, the people behind all this works and stuff like that. You know, they deserve to be recognized. You know, yeah. Okay, so take whatever time, 5 minutes, say whatever you want, and then we'll close it. And then also send us all this stuff. You few minutes, you give the links so I could add to the show notes. So if people want to get a hold of you, they could do it. And those videos available for you and other to use it. There's no charge. We do these things all free. And so please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sarkisian. This has been such a delight, such a joy to talk with you. I feel like I've known you forever. We have talked a few times on the phone. I would strongly recommend your program to everybody, Assyrians, Armenians, Americans, Greeks. It's very informative. I have watched some of the previous interviews. And thank you for creating this platform. And I will send you the link to the Genocide Awareness Week program, as well as a link to previous lectures. If people want to go ahead and watch last year's lectures, they're all published on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate your time. You took your time. We've been talking a long time ago for this. And I hope next time we'll be more specific, subject-oriented, and I will try, if those send me that information, if it's possible, I will come to. I haven't been a long time, never been in Arizona, and especially that area. So I'll be happy to come, maybe spend a day or two, interview some people right there in the spot. All right. Well, thank you very much again. You take care. Give my regard to all of your people, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you for watching. And please go to there. We're going to put all this information in the link. Go there and watch it and do help those people as much as you can. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye-bye.